Hey guys, Charlie Murphy here. Thanks for choosing my video. Playing a session of 1-2 no limit 6 max games on Bovada here this morning. Table 3 gonna open Jack 8 suited blind on blind. Against a half stack player, it's almost certainly a recreational player in the big blind, so I'll play a few more hands against him, though Jack 8 suited's a pretty good one even against a reg. Table 2 open Ace 5 from the button. Suspected recreational player calls the open on table 2. Get a Jack 9-5 two-tone board. I've got bottom pair top kicker. He checks to me. I'll go ahead and put in a small continuation bet, checking back most turns. Betting if I improve, checking if I don't for the most part. Check calls. Turn is a king. I could just start barreling off here on that overcard scare card against a wreck. I think I'll save that for... I've got all kinds of Queen X and 10X gut shots. I don't think I need to start barreling as weak as bottom pair. I'll go ahead and check that one back. River is a 7. I don't beat a whole lot here at this point. Probably not bluff catching against a bet. Checking down's a little bit suspect. I don't win a lot, but I just don't know that I really fold all that many better hands by betting here. Maybe some hands like 7-8, 6-7 gut shots that turn fourth pair. Really, that's about all I'm trying to fold out here. Maybe some weak 9X could fold, but I think just taking the showdown is going to be okay. Maybe I fold the 9X, maybe I don't. I think it's questionable at best. Certainly be bluffing my air balls, but have a smidge of showdown value there with fifth pair. Min open on table 4. 9-6 offsuit might be a little bit loose to defend even for that price. Games look decent so far this morning and have what looks to be recreational players on all the tables thus far. Cutoff opens table 2. I'm in the button with, or big blind rather, with Jack 8. I think that one's going to be a little bit loose to defend, even against a suspected wreck. Gonna open Jack 10 under the gun on table 1. Kind of loose, but table seems passive and weak thus far. Recreational player that's open limped. Still to act after me. Get an open limp over here on table 4. I'm going to cut off with king 3, so I'm going to go after these limpers quite a bit, but maybe not quite as wide as weak-suited kings. Close, though. Table 1, button open, standard open size. I am in the big blind with ace 7. I can go ahead and defend here with my offsuit aces for the most part in this loose formation. Check 2 I'm on 6-6 deuce rainbow. I still have a decent hand here, ace high, on a low paired board. Against that small flop bet, gotta continue with ace high, at least one more street. Turn is an 8. Doesn't really do much for me, probably doesn't do a whole lot for him. Gonna continue checking. Against the second turn barrel, I think it's okay to go ahead and fold these sort of weak, raggy ace highs, especially with no real particular equity there. I'll go ahead and fold ace 7. Squeeze opportunity on table 3. Under the gun, player opens, middle position calls. I'm on the button with ace 4 suited. Thinking about this one. Table 4 opening, pocket 6s in middle position. I think I can go ahead and squeeze here with some of my wheel aces. Table 1, open ace queen from the button. Table 4, my pocket 6s faces a 3-bet in position. Standard size. And go ahead and defend my pocket pairs against that and take a flop. Get an ace queen 4 two-tone board, no relevant suit in my hand. I think it's going to be okay to let the 6s go, especially with no diamond. With the diamond, I could probably call a small bet here. My squeeze gets back 4-bet by the flat caller here. Really good pot odds. However, I just don't know that I want to be... Well, I guess I've got a suited ace here and the price is so good I can go ahead and take the flop. It's kind of tempting. If I'm going to flop trips top kicker on that 7-4-4 rainbow board, that's a great board for the ace 4. 4 bets me to a more appropriate size. I give him the credit and I fold here. Goes ahead and makes a standard continuation bet. Small, looks like about 20% of pot. Go ahead and flat call with my trips. Turn is a queen. Pocket queens now made queens full. Other than that, my hand is still super strong. Obviously not that worried about the couple of combos that are completely nutted here. I think the move is going to be to go ahead and check back the turn, give him a chance to bluff the river or not believe me when I jam the river. Get a king on the river. It could scare him off his mid-pocket pairs. Obviously still going with this one way or another, putting the money in. Checks to me again. Go ahead and jam for pot with my trips. Just thinking about it. Table 1, it's a blind on blind situation. I have got 10-8. Kind of loose, but going to go after what I believe to be a recreational player with one that's sort of close. Table 2, opening queen jack from middle position. Or cutoff, rather. Got called down, my trips get paid off. Table 1, getting ace 9-4 two-tone board, no relevant suits in my hands. I'm going to go ahead and check and start bluffing turns if the recreational player checks back. Got called down by pocket jacks here on table 1, just didn't believe me in that check back line. I'm going to go ahead and start bluffing now. Table 1. Table 3, open jack 10 suited from the cutoff. A recreational player on 40 blinds calls the button. I'll check to him on queen jack 5 rainbow. Turn is the 7, completing the rainbow after check. Still continue checking my second pair, looking to bluff catch or value bet the river. Table 1, opening king jack from the button. Table 2, opening queens from middle position. Table 3, he stabs small about a third. I'm going to go ahead and check call with my second pair. River is a deuce. Going to go ahead and check again. Planning to bluff catch for the most part here. Table 1, the big blind calls. Checks to me on 10-3 deuce two-tone. I'll go ahead and continuation bet. Use a half pot size in here as we've got this low board and I've got the overcards. Table 2, going to open queen jack from what's under the gun here. Kind of on the loose side, but I've got this guy that seemed a little bit fishy, so I want to get involved with him. Got a player calling the cutoff. That's another good sign. Table 1, gonna open ace-8 from the cutoff. Kind of close, but recreational player, so I'm getting involved. A few extra hands when those guys are floating around. Table 1, we're going to go ahead and check out of position to the cutoff on that 9-7-5 rainbow board. I do have overcards, but not all that strong a hand here. Multi-way in position rec in the big blind calls on table 1. I'll go ahead and check my ace-8 on 10-9-7 two-tone. I do have an open ender and the backdoor nut flush draw with the ace of diamonds in my hand. Table 2, face a 75% bet or 2/3, 3/4 type bet over here. I'll go ahead and fold my queen jack high. Table 1, the imposition player stabs. Looks like about 3/4. The big blind calls. I'll go ahead and call as well with my open ender and the diamond in my hand and the ace of diamonds. Turn is an offsuit 4. Nothing much happening there for me. I'll continue checking. If it checks around and checks to me on the river, I'll be bluffing. Table 3, blind on blind, face a standard open. I've got jack deuce, so we're going to go ahead and put in a 3-bet here. I like to 3-bet with a couple of the weak, janky suited combos and some offsuit suited cards not quite good enough to call. Second barrel here, pretty healthy size, especially given that we're multi-way. Looks like it's about 3/4 of the pot, maybe a bit more than that. About 80% of the pot. I'm going to go ahead and just fold my open ender here out of position against the recreational player showing strength. My hand obviously won't be very disguised either if I hit, as I'm drawing to a 4 straight, which makes it less valuable as the implied odds are down. Less likely to get paid significantly if I hit, especially in conjunction with being out of position. Table 1, opening king jack from middle position. Table 2, going to open jack 9 from the button. Another gun player limps. Get a small isolation raise out of the blinds. Going to go ahead and, for the most part, just play raise or fold here. Guess you could sneak in with a few hands. I'm not going to do it with 6-5 suited, though. I guess it's reasonably close. Table 4, opening 10, or 3 rather, opening 10-9 suited from the button. Big blind calls. We get a king 8-7 two-tone board. No relevant suit in my hand, but I do have the open-ended straight draw. He checks to me. I'm going to go ahead and start bluffing, start semi-bluffing. Continuation bet for a small size on this board. I'm going to take that one down. Table 4, we're going to open pocket queens from the button. Table 2, opening kings from middle position. A 3-bet, pretty healthy size, pops me up to 10. Gonna go ahead and 4-bet to call off with queens plus ace king here. Mix in some bluffs, like probably don't really have flat calls here against that size either, so I'm just going to be selecting my bluffs from like pocket pairs, not quite good enough to 4-bet call, ace queen offsuit, suited Broadway type cards. Table 1, cutoff opens a little bit larger than typical size, opens 3x. I have ace 4 suited in the small blind, going to go ahead and 3-bet that one. Cold call from the big blind. That's awful suspicious. We get a queen, jack, deuce, rainbow board. Going to go ahead and put in a small continuation bet. There are a lot of cards I can pick up equity on here. Hearts or Broadway or wheel cards can pick up some gut shot draws as well. 10, I can rep the hell out of ace king. Offsuit 7 is not one that does a whole lot for me here, so I think I'll go ahead and slow down. I can still have strong hands and still can have bluffs. You know, a king 10 would be an ideal bluff here. Ace king would be a good bluff. Table 4, opening king jack from under the gun. Facing the stab here, just going to go ahead and fold the ace 4. Table 1. That's going to be an okay one to fold. Smidge of overcard equity there with the ace, but not even sure if any card is all that good for my hand. Hand can fold pretty efficiently. Get called by a short stack in position and the big blind on table 4. We'll go ahead and check to the in position player on 9-8 deuce rainbow. It checks through. Turn is the king of diamonds. Great card for me, giving me a strong top pair. Table 1, going to open king, queen suited from what is effectively the cutoff right now. Just a little bit smaller size because of this janky stack in position. Table 1, my raise first in gets 3-bet cutoff versus button. I've got a very strong hand here. King, queen suited can go ahead and defend. Can 4-bet jacks plus ace king to call off with. Suited broadways and pairs can be called. Flop top pair second kicker on queen 4-3. Two-tone, good hand right here. No need to check raise here against that size up. I'm going to go ahead and just flat call here against that big flop bet. Turn is the 4 of clubs, putting a flush closer out there and a board pairing card. Table 3, I open kings, blind down blind. Recreational player in the small blind calls me. I'll check to him on ace 4-3. Turn is the 10 of clubs, giving me the nut flush draw along with my second pair. Going to keep checking. Check call the half pot stab. River is a board pairing 10. Not an ideal card for me, but I think we'll just go ahead and keep checking it. Not that worried about being beat. Don't think I need to try to bet for value here with king queen. We can just try to show it down or bluff catch. I check, he checks back. He had king deuce, did not opt to bluff. King deuce suited. This guy, I thought he was just limping because we had a recreational player who was limping behind, but it looks like he actually limps more often than he should. I've got him as limp calling king 9 suited. It's not something a reg typically does. I think this guy is probably a reg. Tables don't look all that promising, so I'm going to go ahead and look for a couple new ones. Table 3, got King 5 suited in middle position. Go ahead and raise that one up. Recreational player calls me in the cutoff. Table 1, new table, button opens. I am in the small blind with King Queen. Gonna go ahead and 3-bet that guy. Comes along for a call. Flop top pair second kicker on Queen 6-3 two-tone. Going to go ahead and put it a small continuation bet. Planning to shovel a lot more money in this pot in future streets. Short stack limps under the gun. I've got ace 8 suited in the button. I am going to isolate him. Table 1, he calls the continuation bet. Turn is an offsuit 8. Going to keep barreling my top pair second kicker. Table 3 got called by a wreck and by the small blind. Go ahead and check range. I've got top and bottom pair on King Jack 5 rainbow. Let's see here. Table 4, I've got the nut flush draw and an overcard on 10-9-5 two-tone. We got about 1.5x pot left. I am just going to put him all in here. Turn to full house on table 3. I'm getting let into by half pot. I will just flat call, try to keep the recreational player in. No need to blow this guy off of draws. My hand is pretty much invulnerable here. Let's see here. In position player calls. It checks to me on the river. Trying to decide how I want to play this. I think maybe a block bet actually has some merit here because this guy will call with a lot of stuff that will fold to the overbets. If he's got a king or some kind of boat, he's still going to be raising me. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just block bet and try to get called by the weaker hands and do some raises. In position player folds, but the out of position player calls. He pays me off with the jack. Don't know I get paid off for a larger bet. Table 1, open Jack 10 under the gun. Open ace 8 suited on middle position. Table 4. Table 2 going to defend the cutoff open in my big blind with ace 6 suited rather. Ace 6 suited gets a 5-5-3 rainbow board. I check to him. He continuation bets small. I'll float that with ace high backdoor flush draw and a low paired board. Against the second barrel on the turn without picking up any equity on that queen of hearts. I'll just go ahead and fold that one out. Table 1, button opens. I'm in the small blind with ace 10. Going to go ahead and 3-bet that one. Towards the bottom of my 3-betting range, but a reasonable hand to go after the button opener here in this loose formation. Especially if I'm not going to play any flats of the small blind and have a few more 3-bets, and a hand like ace 10 can get in the mix. Table 2, open king 10 in the cutoff. Okay, so 3-bet in position. It's going to be too weak of a hand to do anything with but fold. Try king 10 again on table 2, this time in middle position. Table 4, opening queen jack under the gun. Kind of an optional cuspy open, but weak table, weak players. Definite recreational player here in the 5-seat. Big blind player also seems a little bit questionable as well. Flop the stone cold nuts on ace king at 10 rainbow. Go ahead and put in my continuation bet. Plan to keep chucking money in this pot. Whoever my continuation bet takes it down, and win a small pot. New table 2, button min opens. I'll defend my big blind with pocket fours, checking the flop, get an ace 6 deuce rainbow board. Because the heads and continuation bets the minimum, 1 into 428. I'll go ahead and check call my third pair, continue checking. Turn an offsuit 7, don't hit my set, don't pick up any kind of gut shots in a 3 or a 5, so I think I'll go ahead and plan to check fold this against any kind of meaningful, substantial bet here. He puts a half pot bet out there. Given I already don't really have a bluff catcher, might be okay to fold. I think I'll go ahead and call one more time, though, just because the price is so good, and a 4 is obviously a pretty strong card for me if I hit it with lots of money still behind. He gives up, and I check down good. But I didn't fold the turn there against that small bet. What did he barrel with in the turn? He had queen 3, so he had a gut shot. No, he didn't even have a gut shot. He just was barely in air. Which isn't necessarily bad, but isn't necessarily good either. Table 2, opening queen jack from the button. Table 2 up, an ace jack suited from middle position. Pretty calm, quiet games here at the moment. But we do have some decent spots in them right here. Table 4, recreational player, open limps. 9-8 suited in the big blind. Gets an isolation raise there. I don't know I can go after this isolation raise quite this loose. Yeah, I think that's going to be a little bit too loose. Table 2, I open ace-10 suited from the cutoff. The small blind pops me up, but I've got a pretty strong hand here, a suited Broadway. I'm going to go ahead and plan to 4-bet kings, aces, ace-king here to call off, mix in some bluffs. Call most of my pocket pairs and my suited Broadway type cards. Suited connectors here too. Go ahead and take a flop with ace-10 suited. He checks to me on the Jack-7-5 two-tone board. I do have a backdoor flush draw here. Try to decide if there's a lot of merit in stabbing with this as a bluff. I think I'd rather just check it back. It's like hands like aces, or cards like aces and tens, I want that pot to stay smaller on. Continue checking my ace-10 high. Double paired board. Now I've got 7s and 5s with an ace kicker. Happy to check this one down if I can. Kind of a weak rag or trying fish type player on table 4 opens the button. I'll 3-bet my small blind with pocket aces. And if he's doing this with a hand like tens, nines, eights, that's really good. I just don't know that he's going to be doing that enough to justify folding here. I think I'm going to go ahead and just call with the ace high. It's pocket tens. I like his value bet. Table 4, my 3-bet gets called. Get a low monotone board, 6-5 deuce of clubs. No relevant suit in my hand, but I do have a big overpair. He goes ahead and checks back. I'm going to go ahead and start betting out. And I'm going to go ahead and stab half pot with my overpair. Can get value from smaller overpairs, single club hands, or full dot single club hands. River is a deuce, double paired board. I've got the overpair against a recreational player here. I'm not that worried about him having hands like sixes or flushes in that check back and then call the turn line. Guess I want to try to get value from pocket pairs or even ace high type hands. I think I'll just go ahead and block bet here. Give it real easy call with pocket nines. Table 2, my king queen open gets 3-bet. I'll go ahead and fold to the in position 3-better. He jams on me. He hasn't been that aggressive, but it is kind of begging for a bluff there with that size. I do think it's okay to call raises after you use a block bet. Gonna isolate the limper on table 3 from middle position with ace king. I'm calling off with the aces here. Against pocket kings, interesting way to play that hand. That was a value shove. That was a value raise there, which I think I kind of like that. Table 4, opening ace king. He could just 4-bet that pre-flop and be done with it, but LOV. Table 2, min open from the cutoff. I'm in the small blind with ace 4 suitor. Gonna go ahead and raise. Table 3, table 4, gonna go ahead and continuation bet my trips top kicker on ace 9. Table 3, the recreational player donks into me for 2 into 7. I'm gonna flat with ace king high over cards, spade in the hand kind of thing. Let's see here. Table 2, my 3-bet gets 4-bet to a large size. I don't think I can do anything about this. Just go ahead and fold. Going to continue blasting on the turn. I'm going to overbet now. I guess I could have even sized up on the flop against the fish. Perhaps I should have. I'm going to go ahead and just flat call here. My top pair, top kicker on table 3. Turn is a river is a king. Does give me top 2 pair. Trying to decide if there's a lot of merit in trying to overbet here or jam on this guy. I'm going to isolate the limper on table 4. This is a pretty strong hand here. I think I'm just going to go ahead and jam it in. Hope I get looked at as bluffy. He's probably pretty weak after that turn size as it is, but my isolation raise gets called by a wreck and then limp re-raised by this other guy. I'm going to go ahead and most likely fold that against that size. It really screams strength there as well, a limp re-raised type hand from a... And I know some regs have that in their repertoire now. It's kind of a move to do that with aces and do that with bluffs, but I don't know that this guy is really doing that light enough to justify it. I think Jack 10 suit is just going to be too weak to call down. I'll let that one go. He starts doing that kind of shit a lot, I can adjust, but until I've some reason to believe that he's doing that weak, wide, and light, I'm going to give it the credit I think it deserves. Table 2, open Ace Jack under the gun. Three bet over here on table 3 against the under the gun open with 7-6 suited in the button. I think we'll go ahead and fold it. It's really kind of optional. Table 2, button open, slightly larger size, 3x size. I will 3-bet out of my big blind with Ace Jack suited. Blind down blind on table, excuse me, on table 4, going to go ahead and defend for a call with King Queen. Flop top pair second kicker on Queen Jack 7 two-tone. Do have the King of Diamonds in my hand as well, which, while not extremely relevant currently, does not hurt. Player continuation bets half pot. I'll go ahead and defend for a call. Certainly no reason to fold. I don't see a whole lot of reason to raise either. I think call is going to be the best play there. Turn is a deuce of spades, putting a second flush draw up there. That one I don't block. He barrels again. This time it looks like he uses about a 2/3 size, 779 into 1112. I'll go ahead and defend for a call with my top pair. Interesting river, very dynamic, equity shifting river, if you will. The 10 of diamonds closes straights, closes flushes, makes some 2 pairs. He checks. I think at this point I actually can just check back. I don't know that I'm really going to get called by too many worse 1-pair hands here on that particular card. Against ace 10. So he did river 3rd pair. It's barely in his gut shot in his flush draw blocker. Not an unreasonable play to play that hand. Recreational player limps. I'll complete my small blind with Jack 7 suited on table 4. Flop top pair on Jack 10 8 two-tone. Do have the gut shot there, low end of the gut shot to the 4 straight. Under the gun limper stabs for full pot. I'll go ahead and check call with my weak top pair and gut shot. Big blind calls as well. An interesting turn card, the 9 of spades, that gives me the low end of the 4 straight. It also closes some flushes. Probably don't want to be shoving a ton of money in here, but I do have some showdown value. River is the 10. I'm going to keep checking. Really only have value in this hand by showing down good or maybe catching some bluffs. I don't know, I'll get called by a ton of worse here. Full houses, better straights, and flushes, all possible. But it checks around, and my 7 plays against Jack 6 and Ace Jack. So we all had top pair. Under the gun player open, limped Ace Jack offsuit. So we had top pair, top kicker. Table 2, opening Queen Jack, blind on blind. New table 1, blind on blind, facing a standard open. I will defend for a call with 7-3 suited. Do have a gut shot on the monotone board, King 5-4 of diamonds, but still a pretty weak hand overall. Table 2, opening king 10. Table 3, my under the gun open gets 3-bet, then the 3-bet gets cold called by a whale. I think ace-8 suited should still be a full, but that whale in there makes me a little bit more suspicious. If he was deeper, it'd be better. He'd have a chance to flop a super strong hand like trip 8s or a nut flush. Go ahead and check back to 7-3 on the table 1. Table 2, got an ace-10-6 rainbow board. I'll continuation bet small, planning to check back turns for the most part. Basic turn bet half pot, delayed continuation bet on table 1. I will fold the 7 high and a gut shot there. Opening ace-10 over a 30 blind poster in the cutoff. I'm in middle position, opening ace-10 there. Table 4, opening ace-7 suited in the cutoff. Flop second pair top kicker on jack 10 deuce two-tone. I do also have the ace of spades in my hand, relevant on the 2-spade two-tone flop. In position player, he stabs and he stabs for pot. Do I really pay this guy off here if he has a jack? I don't think I do. 30 blind player posting. Turn as a king, don't love the king. Now my hand got relatively weaker. Gonna continue just trying to check and show down my now third pair. He had jack 8, so he was strong with that pot size bet with a weak top pair. But he is also a recreational player if he's auto posting. Now he's open limping. He's calling races in the cutoff with jack 8 offsuit. Recreational player Min opens table 3. I have a very weak hand, queen deuce, but I don't know if it's so weak that I fold it. I would probably even bluff against a full stacked reg here using that sizing scheme. I think I'll just go ahead and take a flop with it here because he's such a short stack weak player. Table 2, open limper. I check in with 8-4 suited. I'm just going to check fold on queen 5. They say small bet, continuation bet on king queen 8 on table 3. I'll go ahead and defend with my second pair for a call. Table 4, big cutoff opens 2.5. I'll go ahead and defend my big blind with 5-4 suited and check the flop. Jack 8 deuce rainbow. Do have some backdoor draws, but pretty weak hand. Weak enough I can go ahead and check fold even against the small bet. Get a half pot turn barrel over there on table 3. Gonna go ahead and defend again. He checks. I'll try to check down my queen. I'm good against ace high, ace deuce. Player open limping on the new table 1. That's promising. This kind of silly, weird player, trying fish, weak reg, whatever you want to call him, opens on table 4. I'll 3-bet king queen in my small blind. That one I take down. Table 1, opening jack 9 suited in the cutoff. Table 3, opening deuces on the button. Got queen 5 suited in the cutoff on table 3. This one's kind of on the cusp, but given I've got a rec behind me, I'll open it. Opening king queen in middle position on table 2. On table 2, I face a 3-bet from the button. I'm going to go ahead and lay that one down. Flop the second nut flush draw on ace 10-7 two-tone. I'm going to go ahead and check the in-position player. Planning to check call here against a bet for the most part. Start bluffing turns. We check through. We do check through. Turn is a board pairing 10. I'm going to go ahead and start semi-bluffing with my flush draw. I think I'll follow through on the river for 3/4 if I whiff. Against that, the 5 river is interesting, as now I guess I beat some unpaired high cards. I really am only betting here to fold on a 7 now. I don't think I fold aces or 10s pretty much ever. I think I'm just going to go ahead and check that one and try to check it down. Table 4, opening king 9 suited in middle position. Get called by a wreck on the button. Got a 7-5 deuce rainbow board. I've got overcards, backdoor flush draw. I'll check to him, but not necessarily folding unless he bets big. He checks back. Turn is a board pairing deuce. I'm going to start bluffing now. Such a small size from the wreck. I've got to call down here, even though I think I'm mostly getting value town. I am getting value town by trips. Queen 10 trips. Odds are so good, though, for that bet. I'm just going to call, and even though I know I'm going to lose a lot, I have faith that these guys are going to just randomly stab with shit they shouldn't, enough that I can just showdown pretty much anything with showdown value against those small recreational player bets. Expecting to lose, but expecting to win it just often enough to make it profitable. Table 2, up in an ace-8 suited in middle position. Recreational player min clicks me from 2.5 to 4. I'll be calling that unless somebody goes ahead and raises over the top of him. Table 1 rather, min raise from the cutoff. I'll defend my big blind with 3s. Go to the flop. King, queen, queen, rainbow. I'll check this one. Folds back around to me on table 2. I'll put in the extra blind and a half and take the flop against the whale. King 5-5 rainbow. Mostly be checked folding here. He checks through. I'll continue checking on the 9, putting a backdoor flush draw up there. Table 1, he stabs 1 into 428. I'll call my 3s and go to the turn. Face a min stab 1 into 9 over here on table 2. Will go ahead and defend that for a call. River is an 8, gives me a suspicious showdown value. I'll keep checking, try to check it down. He checks back, and my 8 is good. We've got pocket 3s here on the forester. I'm not sure if I fold out too many better hands. I guess I could probably just bet pot here and try to fold out things like 10x or better pocket pairs. I don't really have many weaker hands than this. I think it's going to be okay. Table 2, under the gun, opening deuces. This one's kind of on the cusp, but we have weak players out there, so I want to be in there. The ace-8 hand, I was against pocket 3s, so my ace-8 outdrew pocket 3s by hitting that pair on the river. Right, deuces open on table 2, gets called by the in-position short stack, playing very loose and active, 30 blinds deep. Everyone else folds. We get a jack 10-5 two-tone board. Going to go ahead and just check fold here if he stabs for anything meaningful. Pot size stab. I am way out of there. Probably just start bluffing the hand on the turn if it checked through, rather than just try to show down deuces and hope I get there. Get a chance to see the river and have the hand be good. I could just check jam my strong hands or even strong draws against that guy. strong and vulnerable hands. Strong and lockdown hands. I think I can just let him keep stabbing and bluffing. Table 2, min open from the button. I'll defend the big blind with 9-8. Gonna check the flop. 4-4-4 rainbow. Probably just check fold the 9 high here on that board. He stabs 1 into 4. Hate folding for that price, but 9-8's a pretty weak hand there. Have pocket pairs and higher unpaired high card hands than 9 high to continue with. Table 1, min open under the gun. I am in the button with ace. I'm sorry, not ace 10, with pocket 10s. Price of poker is going up. Put in my 3-bet. Face a cold 4-bet. Pretty healthy size, 8 to 22. Probably jam like kings and ace king against that. Trap my pocket pairs. I think I can even still call pocket 10s here. Get an ace 7-4 two-tone board. Probably just be folding here. Can have aces that hit top set. Can have other pocket pairs. 10s is pretty weak. I guess given that I do have the club in my hand, it's not the weakest combo. With a 10-10 no club is about as weak as I get here. Maybe 9-9 no club. We'll go ahead and call that 10% bet, however. Table 4, open pocket queens under the gun. In position player calls me the cutoff. I go ahead and check to him on top set board, queen 8-6 rainbow. Turn is the king of diamonds, gives me second set. Going to start trying to get some money in here now. I'm going to go ahead and overbet him. Table 1, I flatted the flop small bet. Turn is a 1/3 bet on the jack. Now I've got pocket 10s. The hand keeps getting relatively weaker. I'm going to go ahead and continue with hands like sets of aces, sets of jacks. Can maybe think about pocket queens being in there. I think I'm just going to go ahead and fold the pocket 10s. Going to go ahead and 3-bet my middle position on table 3 with ace king. Get cold called by the whale in position on 50 blinds. Get an 10-4-3 rainbow board. Gonna go ahead and continuation bet this guy. Just stab out for half pot. Probably just be jamming turns. Maybe check to trap if I spike top pair against the whale. Give him a chance to put the money in. Himself with some bullshit. Table 3, opening jack 10 from what is effectively middle position. Limper and a poster on table 3. I'll check my big blind with king 3. Checking, planning to check fold on queen 9-6 two-tone. It checks around, however. I'm going to just go ahead and start bluffing against the recreational players here. And they both quickly fold, and I pick up a free small pot. Table 4, open an ace deuce suited from middle position. Table 1, open an ace 10 from under the gun. Real nitty player, 15-10 over 73 hands, cold calls in the cutoff. I'm willing to bet that's some kind of pocket pair looking to hit a set. You know, usually can't make too much of a determination about what guys are doing based on pre-flop stats, but 15-10 with no 3-bets over 73 hands just screams Nit City to me. I'm going to go ahead and check to him on the Ace-King-4 rainbow board. Planning to check call, but probably not putting a ton of money in against this guy if he's being aggressive. Interesting turn card there, though, after I check call the small bet, the 3, it gives me a gut shot to go with my marginal pair. I don't know if I can really get too much value here from bluffs. I think maybe if I just block bet, there's a chance I get called by a king or some goofball pocket pair. He quickly folds, doesn't fall for it, but I don't think he's going to bluff with anything. I think he's going to really bet anything that I beat there, so I really have no value in checking to bluff catch. Table 1, defend a min, open from under the gun on my big blind with king, queen, and flop queen, jack, 5 rainbow. Top pair, second kicker. Goes ahead and stabs, looks about 60%, 282 into 428. I'll go ahead and check call my top pair. Turn is a 9, gives me a gut shot while closing some straights themselves if he's holding king 10. Decent card for me as I pick up equity against the hands that currently had me beat. I blocked the absolute nut type hands that came in. He goes ahead and stabs about half pot, 42 into 963. I'm going to go ahead and check call again. River is a 6. Fairly blank, I guess 7-8 got there. Hand is still pretty good here, and he's been aggressive post flop, and he also has not been using very scary sizes post flop here as well. Pretty sure I'm going to call this one down, even though I don't think it's massively profitable. I don't know. That size up on the river has me thinking a second about it. I think I'm going to go ahead and let that one go. Not expecting a whole lot of bluffs from that player there. Size up on the flop doesn't really bode well for me either. Not quite a triple Broadway board, but pretty damn close with the 9 and 2 Broadway cards out there. Don't know that the player pool finds ways to bluff with ace-king there enough. Weird trying fish type player opens the cutoff. I am on the button with ace-10. This one's kind of close, given that I'm not completely sure how much of a fish he is, but I'm going to go ahead and get in there with the ones that I think are close if I have reason to think this guy is not a strong a player. Ace a 4-bet. Fairly a little bit on the small side for not a positioned 4-bet, but I've got a really lousy hand for defending 4-bets here. I really don't want to be calling the offsuit broadways against a 4-bet here, even against that size, so I'll go ahead and let that one go. Table 1, opening kings in the cutoff. Face a 3-bet. Obviously going to be 4-betting this. 4-bet kings, aces, ace-king. Pocket queens could go either way. Mix in a few bluffs, probably like ace-queen offsuit. Maybe some wheel aces or hands like that. Go ahead and put in my 4-bet. He calls quickly rather. Get a 6-5-4 two-tone board. Gonna go ahead and continuation bet this for a quarter and plan to call off if he jams. Put it all in if he raises small. They just jam turns for the most part. Table 4, open an ace-4 suited in middle position. He raises small. If he somehow has 7-8 or a set here, more power to the guy. I think he can just sort of overplay. Not that it's really even an overplay. I think he can just go with hands like jacks, 10s, even queens here could be in his range. So we're going to go ahead and stick it in. Table 4, big blind calls, checks to me, 10, 7, 6, 2-tone. I'm going to go ahead and continuation bet for half pot. I'm against the nut flush draw, so he actually was super live, and he binks it on the turn, ace-10. He had all the diamonds, or the ace, so, you know, I'm not much better than a flip there. I guess his play is okay. Player open limps. He hasn't been particularly fishy, but he has open limped before. I'm a little bit suspicious of these guys that play like reggy stats for a while and then find a way to limp. However, I think pocket sixes on the button is something I'm not going to overthink. I'm just going to isolate. Big blind calls. And there it is. There's that limp squeeze. Table 2, opening king 10 from the cutoff. I think sixes are a little bit light to defend that limp raise with. Got me thinking about it, that's for sure. Fishy player defends the big blind, about 75, 80 blinds deep on table 2. I flop top 2, king 10, 3. Two-tone board. Going to go ahead and continuation bet, size up with my value here. Start getting some money in now against a fish. Calls. Turn is a 9. It does complete some straights. I don't love that particular card, but obviously my hand is still pretty good. He donks out 2 into 12. I am not that worried about that being Queen Jack having got there. I'm going to go ahead and just continue playing this hand like it's good. I'm going to go ahead and raise for value, about a 3/4 size. River is a 7. Got top 2 pairs still. I think it's going to be okay to just try to put the rest in, about a 1.5x overbet. See if he can call me off. He does call me off. He had 3s. Okay, so he had a set of 3s. I was burned all along, actually. Looked draw into the full house myself. Table 2, opening 10s in middle position. Table 4, opening ace 10 in the cutoff. Get 3-bet by the big blind. I'll go ahead and fold that one. Table 3, going to open ace 8, blind on blind. Table 4, cutoff opens. I'll 3-bet pocket tens from my big blind. Table 3 gonna open threes in middle position. And he just jams over the top of my tens. Think I can go ahead and let that go. Queens plus ace king. I'm in the middle with the money right away. Jacks is kind of rubber hand. I think that one is close. Table 3, I checked, and the recreational player on 30 blinds checks back on 9-7-6 two-tone. Turn is a king. I'm just going to go ahead and start bluffing with my threes, planning to follow through on the river. River is a 10, putting a 4 straight up there. I'm just going to go ahead and follow through for one more bet. Use a 3/4 size or a pot size here. And he just quickly clicks it back, leaving about 50 cents behind, or about $1 behind, about a half blind behind. I'll go ahead and fold my threes against that. Table 3, blind on blind, facing a standard open. I'll defend with 7-6, go to the flop. Flop the low end of the open-ended straight draw on ace 9-8 rainbow. Can continue or stab here against a check. He bets half pot. Go ahead and call that one. Turn the nuts. Living clean, running pure, turning the nuts in blind battles. He bets half pot. I could raise it, but I think I'm just going to go ahead and flat against really any smaller than that. I'd probably just find a raise there. I'll just go ahead and call. Still have the nuts on the river on that 4. So planning to overbet or raise against a bet here, depending on if he decides to continue. He bets 10 into 32. I think we'll go ahead and hit the 3/4 button. Could also jam this, but I think 3/4 is going to be the size on the river here. He doesn't buy it, calls me down pretty quickly. Ace 9. He had 2 pair. Wonder if I could have got the rest playing a little bit differently somewhere. I don't know. Cutoff opens 2.2. Going to go ahead and defend my big blind with king queen on table 1. Flop top pair second kicker on king deuce deuce rainbow. Just keep trying to check down my 9 over here against the recreational players on table 2. You think about bluff catching also here in this line. Table 1, he goes ahead and stabs, or continuation bets small. Go ahead and check call my top pair second kicker. Turn is a 10 of clubs. My kicker still plays. River is 9. I think I'll go ahead and just value bet this now. Go ahead and lead out for a 3/4 size on the river. All by sorts of random pairs here. Probably a little too strong to just check and use as a bluff catcher. Can have weaker short on value hands that can check and call a bet check bet line. Open limper recreational player on table 2. I'll complete my small blind with 10-7 suited. Looking for some revenge after he coolered me a set versus my top 2 pair. New table 1, opening aces in the cutoff. Limp pot on table 1, king 5 deuce rainbow checks around. Turn is the 9 of spades. I've got no real equity here with 10-7 of diamonds, but I'm going to go ahead and just start trying to bluff these wrecks here. Big blind range and open limping range that didn't put any money in the flop are going to be weak enough. I can find some folds between the turn and the river. Big blind calls. River is a 3 of spades. I'm going to follow through with the river bluff, not surrender my 10 high. Doesn't get through in the 9. I still think it's worth a shot. Recreational player in 50 blinds who is raised, it looks like one hand so far over 72 opportunities min raises. I've bet ace jack of diamonds. Given that this guy has been so passive, I am not going to do any sort of crazy 3-betting here with the hand that can't stand up to 4 bets, which this hand certainly can't against a guy that tight. So I'm going to go ahead and just call and take the flop. I have a gut shot and a backdoor flush draw on queen 10 deuce rainbow. Table 1, open ace 3 blind unblind. A queen 5-4 two-tone board. Gonna go ahead and just check out of position. He goes ahead and checks back the flop. Turn is an 8, giving me a double gut shot. Gonna go ahead and continuation bet that one, or probe that one rather on the turn. I take that one down. Table 1, I check and he stabs in position. I check call my gut shot ace high with ace 3. Turn is a 4, putting the second flush draw up there. Against the second follow-up stab, I'll just go ahead and fold ace high to that one. Opening pocket 3s in the cutoff on table 2. Opening queen jack on the button on table 1. My 3s face a cutoff from the small blind player on table 2. Don't need to defend all my pocket pairs here in the cutoff. Would defend a lot of them, probably cut it off around 6s or so. Fold 5s, 4s, 3s, deuces. Also have my suited broadways, suited connector type hands, maybe ace-5 suited. Face a 3-bet from the small blind on table 1 as well. Queen Jack of the offsuit variety is a fairly weak hand to continue with against 3-bets. I'll go ahead and fold that one as well. Going to a cheap flop here with 7-deuce offsuit against the open limping button whale player on table 2. I've got 7-deuce in the big blind and check in. Queen 10-4 rainbow checks through. Turn is a 6 of diamonds. I'm just going to start bluffing this guy. River, I turn a deuce. I'm just trying to show down my 5th pair against some kind of goofball ace high rather than try to fold out pairs. He goes and overbets the river, almost 2x pot. Just go ahead and fold for sure. Table 3, I opened ace-queen from the cutoff. Recreational players in both the button and big blind have come along for a call. I'm going to check range on the jack 6-3 two-tone board. Checks around, turn is the 8 of diamonds. I still have overcards. Going to go ahead and start bluffing. Squeeze opportunity on table 1. Recreational player is out there flatting as well. I'm going to go ahead and squeeze my ace-king out of the small blind. Take that one down. My turn stab gets, or my turn delay bet gets called. River is a board pairing 6. I don't know that I really fold out pairs anymore here. I'm going to go ahead and try to check this down, or maybe even bluff catch on that board pairing card. Checks down my ace-queen high is good. Table 2, whale open limps. I isolate the button with ace-10 suited. Table 3, open king-6 suited from middle position. Table 4, going to defend my big blind against a cutoff open. I've got pocket 7s over here. Small overpair on table 4, 6-deuce-deuce rainbow. Get called by 2 fishy players on table 2. I've got second pair top kicker on jack 10-6 two-tone. Real good hand to check back here, assuming nobody leads into me. Face a quarter bet over here on table 4 with the small overpair. Going to continue with pocket 7s. Turn is a 5. Still a pretty good card. I only lose to overpairs that had me beat all the way from pre-flop. 6 down. River is the king. Going to keep checking. They say min stab over here on the turn, that's 7 turn. I think I'm going to go ahead and actually raise this one up to either get some value from weaker hands or deny equity from hands that do have pieces of that board. Just going to treat that min raise and call like a fancy check. He calls. Planning to be checking back the river unless I hit trip 10s or maybe an ace. Queen of Hearts is not an ideal card, but I will check that one back. I'm against Queen 9, so I did get some value from the draw. I really can't make the open-ender full, but I'm okay with the turn play. Got a bluff catch opportunity over here. I think it's pretty close, but I'm going to call it. Got him. Table 4 opening King Jack from the button. Basic 3-bet from the big blind. Probably a little bit too loose to defend even for a 4-bet bluff. Probably 4-bet King, Queen, Ace, Jack here and fold hands like Ace, 10, King, Jack. think it's time for a little break. Games are breaking to some extent as it is anyway. And I could use a few minutes of downtime here. That's it. Taking a little break for now. Till next time, this is Charlie Murphy signing off.